final form at the beginning of your design process. I see a lot of students, architect, they have one single idea for the end, and they just follow through a process which is crafted to that final product. It means you are missing out a lot of options. In this video, I'll be talking about how you can focus on process instead of the end product so that you will have more design options. Better than that, more or broader view on your design problem. Okay. Why I don't start with the final form? The problem, maybe I increase myself a little bit, size, internal size. Why I don't start with the final form? A lot of people try to force the final look too early in Grasshopper. And when they start by chasing the image they want instead of defining the system behind it, they miss a lot of opportunities. They miss the entire design process. That usually makes the script harder to build and harder to adjust because you have a final image in your head and you start to dive in, try to come up with solutions to an imaginary problem. When the final form is forced too early, obviously the logic becomes weaker because you started to use rigid components instead of giving you more opportunities. And last but not least, the result may look interesting, but it becomes harder to control because, again, your script is too rigid. So what do I do instead? I start with a system, not a final shape. I ask what relationship is driving the result. I focus on what should I control? What should I control with what component? I let the form emerge from the logic. This makes the definition easier to build, test, and change later. So if I go to my Grasshopper script, what I'll be working on a few forms here with some kind of a building exercise. So I'll get a few curves, okay? Let's say I want to use this guy and I want to use this guy. Let's say these are the plots, okay? So if I go here, set multiple curves, I input them in. I forgot to get bifocals. So what I can do, I can pull out a series component. I can move these points up and down, right? In Z direction, right? So like, let's say I would like to move them. If I change this to meters real quick, because I want to work within meters, okay, and I can go to here and then say grid, maybe 10 per each, okay. And let's say I want to start with a slider called, I don't know, between 100 and 0, and say number of floors, and take the same thing, copy it and paste number of floors 2, indicating the second floor. So this will be my count. And for step, I can copy this, and floor height, I can say floor height. And when I put these guys into a Z vector, as you remember from the previous videos, this will go up, okay? Because I selected, you see, they tried to use 2 curves, but it doesn't work. So what I can do as an exercise, instead of go 100 by 100, or yeah, we can go by, I don't know, maybe this is too much. Maybe I can go like this. So I'll have a quick exercise to show you. I'll get 2 curves, and these 2 curves will be the building plots. And obviously I got my recipe written here. So create several building plots, reference the plots, assign floor count, assign floor height, multiply it by, and then we just loft them. So we'll be moving this in Z direction by using like a series component. And when I do this, I started to see that they are not working because it tries to move these 2 curves. So what I can do instead, I can say craft, and this same vector will control these 2 results. At the same time, what I can do, I can create a slider, like let's say 20 again. I can name them because this naming might be important. Floor height and number of floors. I did a similar example the other day, but it's a good practice to think about them. So 20 floor each, we have this. Obviously, if I can create another building plot, like let's say 45 plus 70 or 100, really long building, I don't know. And if I add this to this group, manage multiple curve collection, add this guy, and we have two. So obviously what we need to do here is we can grab kind of a merge component, and I can say 1, I can say 2, I can say 3. I can pull this in, and I can do 1, copy this and paste, do it 2, copy this and paste, and do it 3. Put it here and put it here. So now I can control the third building number 4 here, and I can control its height as well. What I'm focusing on right now is basically seeing the building plots, or my kind of blueprint is giving a shape of my floors and slabs. And these slabs are kind of changing the way that I am designing these buildings. But what else we can do? Obviously, this is one thing, like extruding them like this is one thing. Or if you just go in here and if I say loft, you see that we get some results, right? And we can cap them too. I'll be just grouping this one because this is an important exercise. I'll group them all and pull out a scribble and say method 1. Well, this may seem a little cringe, a little too, well, this exercise may seem too simple or too straightforward. However, it's really important for us to understand why we need systems over process, why we need systems. All right, and that's it. So we can have them indifferently, and you can use this script to understand both craft and also the system behind process-based thinking. And if you want to get access to this Grasshopper file, follow the link in the description and join my free community. And why are we doing this again? So because I'm focusing on the process behind this system, and what I am not doing, this is really important. I am not drawing the final form directly in Grasshopper. I am not starting with the silhouette that I want. I am not forcing the massing first and try to justify it later. Instead, I define a system. I use plot as my footprint, define the floor count, define the floor height, loft creates the final mass, and the form comes out of relationship between these parts. If you are serious learning in Grasshopper, follow the link in description, book a call with me so that we can sit down and chat, and I can help you with your Grasshopper journey and a better career as well. This process-based thinking is helpful because the logic becomes easier to understand. You have a clear roadmap to follow. The results become easier to control. The definition becomes easier to debug, and the system can generate more than one outcome. And most importantly, Grasshopper feels more like a design tool than less like a guesswork. The main idea, do not start with the final form, start with the relationship, start small relationships, start with the smallest pieces of the relationship and build on top of them. Let geometry emerge from the systems, and the form should be the result, not the starting point. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.